Salute Knicks Nation. Let's talk about this game. As the Knicks were not serious to close this one out, man. Losing 121 to 132 in Indianapolis. Man, this one was a frustrating finish and a lack of defense played by the team as the Pacers rained threes late in this ball game to open it up, right? But some concerns started to creep in late in that third. The Knicks gave up a 10-point lead, and there were some bad decisions by the referees in this one, but we're going to talk about Tom Thibodeau. 7-man rotation tonight. This early in the season, guys. What is the biggest concerns for you? Guys, get your comments in. Salute to Knicks Nation. Salute to the chat. Salute Replay Squad. How you feeling after this one, man? Let me know your takes after this. I'm frustrated because I thought the Knicks were in a really strong position in this game, right? But defensively, there was lapses all throughout the game, and you thought, but we were still in control. But then once they took away a three-pointer from OG Anunoby, it was tied, and then we were down three. And then it was like we were shell-shocked. We just never looked back after that. But Tibs playing a 7-man rotation in this one is just incredible. Guys were physically exhausted. This is a track meet. It was back and forth, and in a typical game that we know to expect. The Pacers were going to look for revenge after the beatdown we gave them in MSG. But this one, Cat was cooking, in the first half. OG Anunoby, excellent game on both sides of the floor. But the Knicks lost control and just couldn't get it back. Stagnant offense again, and you got to give credit to Indiana's defense. They did, that like they do. They provide that ball pressure, and it was tough to get into our sets early. That's a pattern, a concern. I think that the Knicks, coming into tonight, were 30th in pace, 29th in possessions, fam. We only shot 25 threes again. Another big reason why we lost this ball game. We shot 28%, but we just could not generate enough threes, right? And Indiana aren't exactly a great defense, so that's concern number one for me. Our offense can't continue to go in and out of funks, and then let our defense get affected by it. Basically, Miles Turner was left wide open on so many pick and pops, right? So we're going to talk tonight about some key adjustments that I want to see. And obviously, like we talked last night to Bill Daughtry about, Cat playing the 5 long term and the Knicks needing that extra presence, the physicality, a guy to do some more dirty work. Hart was excellent tonight, but, he can't do it all. But I'm frustrated because Indiana are undermanned. No Andrew Nemhard, no Neesmith as well. They're without a couple of bigs, no Obi Toppin as well, and their other two centers. And the Knicks couldn't capitalize, right? We have our own injuries as well, but I mean, we gave up a good effort from Cat, 11 of 19, 2 of 5 from deep. We kind of froze him out a little bit in that fourth as well after a great third quarter from Cat. But OG, exerted all his energy, 9 of 14 in 35 minutes. You can't really play him any more than that. Hart, 42 minutes as well, stands out to me. He was a Lionheart, though, tonight, 7 of 12. Missed all his threes, though, but was a minus 16 tonight. But, OG, the best of the plus-minus of all the starters, -2. That tells the story. And he was excellent on both sides, like I said. And Jalen Brunson was moving the ball throughout the game, 10 assists, 33 points. But our team defense, there's just way too many lapses. And I thought they did take advantage of Miles McBride in terms of the size, undersized, and they were getting downhill really easily. But what's up? Get on my level. Big Mike, Real King, Marvin, and SB. Let's talk about it. Mikal Bridges having some struggles on the defensive side. I agree with SB on that in terms of the defensive side. I think he's been okay offensively. But the pick and roll defense is a concern for me. The streets are buzzing, Real King. Great to see you. Appreciate you. Big Mike says chemistry non-existent right now. Feels like we're getting worse as the season progresses. I feel like look, a number of factors are playing into what's happening, fam. Yes, it's early. That's a percentage of our struggles right now. But in terms of our personnel, in certain matchups that we don't do well against, right? Cat is not that quick laterally, right? When he has to come out, and he has to bolster the anchor of the defense, he's just not that guy to anchor a defense, and that's what last night was all about with Bill Daughtry. A lot of people peg it as negative. Bill was spilling his thoughts on it. He wants to see the Knicks succeed and still continue to mention that the Knicks are the second best team in the East behind Boston. So, but having said that, there was a reason why Minnesota went and got Rudy Gobert, right? If Cat was a dynamite anchor on the defensive end, Minnesota don't need to give up 5 first-round picks, to go get Rudy Gobert and make that work. And so what the Knicks are doing right now, we don't know how long this experiment is going to last. In my personal opinion, Cat at the full-time 5 is a concern. It's not the only concern, but I think, we're going to be back and forth, 500 team, I think, until either Precious and Mitch get back, and then we might see some more stability on the defensive side. Because don't forget, Cat does exert a lot of energy on offense, and he's hustling, he's playing hard, right? I'm not buying into any narrative that Cat ain't playing hard. He just has deficiencies on the defensive side, right? And when you're tasked as a big man to play both sides, there's only a small handful of bigs in the league that are elite at both sides. Nikola Jokic, Anthony Davis, you could say a healthy Joel Embiid. Outside of that, how many bigs are there that are elite on both sides? It is tough, right? It is tough. But I like to see some Huckporty. I thought Jericho is kind of that guy that's just eating minutes right now. He's not doing anything great, and he's not really, hurting us or losing us the ball game. But it's just 9 minutes that he's eaten up. 2 points, 2 rebounds. And as for the reason why Tibs went 7 men, if you didn't catch tonight's game, Tyler Kolek played a minute 47 and, a couple of defensive lapses. And I was a little out of place in this one with the speed of the game and the physicality. And so Tibs just didn't want to go back to that. And so Tibs is playing desperate right now. And, he's trying to find ways to get early wins. I get it, until, some guys come back. But you got to play who you have, and just live and die with that. Me personally, you got to play Daddy some, I know Daddy can have some lapses, fam, but Boston, he trusted him on opening night. He can space the floor out. He's got some length, right? Give him 5 minutes, man. Rest some guys. Hart 42 minutes tonight. We can't afford to lose Hart. So you got to be smart. You got to play the long game in the eyes of me. But Tom Thibodeau's just not seeing that, right now. Also, Ariel Huckporty, Matt Ryan. I mean, find a way to get that 9th guy in there, fam. 8th, 9th man. Sandman says if this continues, Tibbs has to go. Look, I'm not going to say Tibbs out right now, but I'm not going to defend him either, man. I need to see something a whole lot better, because Tibbs has just given us the same old mistakes with these rotations, fam. And it ain't going to be long until OG or Hart, pick up a soft tissue injury if these minutes continue to go. But yeah, appreciate the comment on that. Buzzer Beater says no second chance points, poor defense, and absolutely no rim protection. So let's take a look at the stats, right? So the Knicks, yeah, again, there's a theme when we lose, is that we're only getting 25 threes up. So we didn't get enough threes up, but we also didn't shoot well tonight, man. We left some points at the free throw line as well with JB and Big Cat late. But second chance points, right? We did win that actually, funnily enough, but we got killed on fast breaks. I mean, Tyrese was keen to bounce back tonight after one of his worst games of his career earlier at MSG. But they had 19 fast break points to the New York Knicks 6. That's ball game right there, fam. That 13-point difference is the ball game right there, as the Knicks only lost by 12. We won points in the paint, second chance points, but we play slow as a snail. Right, That's one of our biggest issues, fam. As we talked about this last night, man. We are dead last, 30th in pace, and second to last in possessions, right? Some games simply come down to a possession battle. That's why that's so key, guys. You could shoot lights out. You could have a great offense or defense. But if you're so slow in possessions and pace, and another team gets more shots up, they might have a better chance of winning because, it's just simple math. You shoot more, you got more chances to score. And so the Knicks are so slow. We have this problem in the playoffs coming up against Indiana, a fast-paced team. So we've got to get that pace up, man. Brunson, I think, as I put in my notes, fam, they did really well putting ball pressure again, and that's something on Tibs. I didn't see anything that he learned from the playoff series. Continues to let Jalen Brunson get killed on full court press, and get hammered, get fouled, and get ball pressured. With that said, so not a great game from Deuce tonight either. They had him in a straitjacket. Not going to lie, Deuce couldn't get us in any sets either. The shot clock was really winding down, and we just weren't able to really get into anything. And then the threes just killed us late. Buzzer says the level of difficulty of our shots was off the charts. Yeah. Marvin says, I thought Tibbs was a defensive coach. His schemes work well when he has the personnel, fam. And so, and even then, sometimes you don't get those second chance rebounds because the other team's just, hitting their open threes. But yeah, with that said, I don't think Cat is an anchor of a defense at the 5. He's trying, he's hustling, but yeah, laterally, I think he's not as quick moving his feet. But also, yeah, he just couldn't come out to those open threes, and they just had us scrambling, fam. They were getting downhill so easily that we had to drop back, and then they killed us with those threes late. Sandman says, I don't want to see Towns standing at the 3-point line. It's great that he can shoot it, but we must utilize him on the low block. Yeah, that was working well in the first half. I think we were getting some pretty good post-ups. We were attacking some of the mismatches. But yeah, Indiana just, picked it up a notch. And I think there was a key stretch to tonight's ball game. And I know the 12 points is going to look like we got blown out. It was really the last 4 minutes of the game. But the game for me tonight, fam, it swung in that third quarter, early fourth, late third. The Knicks had a 10-point lead in the third. Rick Carlisle called a timeout, and Tibs the team just looked absolutely unserious after that moment. And Indiana just basically erased a 10-point deficit in the blink of an eye. It was a stupid turnover from, I think, a couple of guys, couple of possessions were lost. Indiana got an and one, and it was like a 10-point lead was down to like 2 in like literally 3 minutes. And we just couldn't get back control of this game. And I think that's one of our key issues right now, fam, which we're struggling to control games where we just, can continue to run our offense at an efficient level and continue to get stops. Tonight was just a frustrating back and forth game, right? And guys would just, it was like a street ball game. They were just flying in, playing their heart out. Credit to a lot of these guys playing their heart out, but they weren't playing smart. They were playing hard, but not smart in this ball game, right? David M says, I don't want to make this team, they're a Jekyll and Hyde act, right? I don't know what to make of the team, CT, they're a Jekyll and Hyde act. Yeah, that's exactly what your record says, David. Great comment. I think we're going to find an identity, right? I think that's a great question, fam. We can ask everyone now, what really is our identity? Because, if we can find an identity and we can be consistent and win that way, I'll buy in, just like all the other fans. What's going to be our identity? Is it 500 team right now? I think we need to get Precious back. Obviously, we need to get Mitchell Robinson back. And then maybe we can go back to last year's style of play a bit more with Cat at the 4, OG back to the 3, Bridges at the 2. Is that what you guys would like to see? But for the right now, Tibbs has got to trust some more guys, fam. Right, 7-man rotation is just ridiculous in the 12th game of the season, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if Tibbs ends up on the hot seat, at some point soon. Those are the reasons that's gonna be. Buzzer says, why are we running? If we're slower paced, then play slow. Trying to run with a fast team on a short rotation is insane. That is a good point. I think, yeah, players lost their heads tonight. You get when you're going at guys and you have pride and they're trash talking you don't play smart. That's what I said. I don't think we played smart tonight. We played hard. Definitely played hard, man. I feel sorry for some of these players because they just were hustling, but they weren't playing smart, you know. And we were driven to our limits defensively, Throw in some Daddy A, throw in some Huckporty, anchor the defense a bit. We are missing Cameron Payne. I'm not going to lie. Bench scoring was absolutely woeful again. We got 7 points from Deuce and 2 points from Sims. Right, 9 points from your bench, fam. And I'm sounding like Bill Daughtry right now. What did he say last night? He said the New York Knicks don't have a bench. And we don't. Sandman says Carlisle almost used his entire bench. Exactly. Even Johnny, the Aussie Furphy, got in with that one. We got some Nets trolls in the building. Glad you could join us, fam. Enjoy the Knicks show. But yeah, we're finding an identity. But you got to go through some lumps to figure out who you are. A lot of teams start slow. So tonight was just more frustration, guys, and trying to fix some things that we can correct. Because we can't keep playing up and down without that rim protector. AP says it's time. Tibs got to be traded. He thinks it's 1997. Westchester Leicester says Knicks defense peeving you off. And CWC, great comments last night. Thank you for joining us. CWC says Knicks is an embarrassing team right now to watch. I don't know about rather watch Brooklyn games, fam. You got to stick with us. You got to be loyal through the thick and thin. But I get why everyone's frustrated, man. We'll clean it up. But right now, it's a mess. It's a mess. AP says Leon Road should give him a job elsewhere. I don't know about the Pacers in the Knicks' heads, fam. I think the Pacers got their own problems to worry about. If you're a Pacer fan, well done on the win, but you got your own problems to worry about, fam, as do we right now. I don't know if any other East team outside of Cleveland and Boston can really have anything to say about any other East team right now. We're all a mess. We're all got to figure things out right now. Chris Connors says Pacome Daddier, Matt Ryle, and Tyler Kolek are good shooters, but coach won't even play them. Look, I'll give you the Daddier and the Matt Ryan, but Kolek was a problem tonight. Kolek was a problem, but that shouldn't have stopped, Tibs from going to more guys. It's just to give you guys a little bit of an update. Not that this is for any particular reason, but I did notice that Moses Brown. So tonight was Westchester Knicks' first game, and a shout out to Moses Brown. He gave us 27 points, career high, with 17 rebounds and 2 blocks. And also shout out TJ Warren, gave us 35 buckets and 17 rebounds. And I think double-digit rebounds as well. So I know it's the G League, but those guys had a monstrous effort, as did OG Anunoby, right? So let's give out the first grade of the night, man. OG Anunoby, huge first half. Back in his in the city where he went to college, back in Indiana, he was all over the court tonight. Was OG Anunoby. He was on fire. It's just a shame that we couldn't get the best out of him offensively in the second half. We did, through good ball movement still, but we did go away from the hot hand. And that's a problem that we've been, dealing with right now. So with OG stats, let's bring it up and give out the first grade for OG, man. We've got to start with some positives as well and talk about that. So OG Anunoby had 9 of 14, 3 of 4 from distance, 25 points. I think it would have been his best scoring performance as a New York Knick, had that 3-pointer not got take away. I think it was really unlucky, man. His heel was like, might have been slightly above the line, but the ref, took the 3-point away, and that was a momentum swinging, swing in this ball game tonight, fam. The Knicks were tied, and then the 3 got taken away. And so, but OG went to work, 4 of 4 from the free throw, 2 offensive rebounds, 2 steals, but did have 3 turnovers as well. Was a little sloppy. I think that's the story of OG's kind of game. You ride him while he's hot, but he can get a little erratic, and he's not necessarily a go-to guy down the stretch as well. He's that perfect, fourth guy, third to fourth guy on offense, but he played great tonight. But 35 minutes, did get a little breather at the end by Tibs, where Tibs could bring a guy in, but OG was just gassed. But he did give us a great effort. So with that said, I'm going to give OG his grade. Let me, in fact, let me change that up a little bit, because I'm having second thoughts on that, just due to our finish, right? But I do think OG Anunoby was the best New York Knick tonight. He deserves a solid B, right? We're not even close in this ball game early without his tenacity and his energy and his hustling on both sides of the floor. So yeah, we'll be watching some more G League, Chris, definitely. EVH says the biggest mistake was not waiting and seeing how the team played before the trade. I can understand how you feel that way, I really do, but I feel like there was a timeline on it. You can't trade certain contracts mid-season. I think that's been widely reported. Yeah, but definitely, the Knicks could have waited and maybe passed on the Towns trade, but I'm still all in on it. I just think you got to tweak it. You got to get Cat at the 4 like Minnesota did, and get a real rim anchor. And I've heard some people say then you lose your 5-out shooting and all of that. Well, it didn't prevent Minnesota from getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. You got to be adaptable in the NBA. You can't say that this is our 5 guys and we're only going to play with these 5 guys. You got to be adaptable. There's different matchups each night. There's different battles in the playoffs. Sometimes you can have Cat close the game at the 5, and shoot teams out. Sometimes when you're going up against your other teams, you need Mitchell Robinson, or you need Rudy Gobert. It's just the way that it goes, right? I don't think Cat is a full-time 5. I don't need to see any more games to come to that conclusion, right? Is he an excellent 4? Is he a dynamite stretch 5? Yeah. Defensively, there's some concerns, why do you think Indiana are a mediocre team? I mean, Miles Turner can stretch teams out, but he can also block shots at the rim as well. But yeah, we were gassed late down the stretch, and we've got to find ways to get more guys in the rotation. I feel like Tibs is really missing an early opportunity to give guys confidence, and that's not not just my own opinion, but when we talk to other guys, guests on the show, one of them coached Nick B-Ball Breakdown, who has experience as a coach, maybe not at the the highest level, but one of Tibs, one of Coach Nick's biggest criticism of Tibs is that he's just very stubborn, and in terms of getting guys and trusting guys, he's very quick to sap a player of their confidence, by giving them such a quick hook, right? You have a guy like Dadier in the season opening night, you played him, and then now he's in the doghouse. He's been shooting the basketball well, but you're not going to go to him now. Huck Porty, you throw him in there against Cleveland, and then you bury him on the bench now as well. So Tibbs is making some pretty firm calls, and I think it's not really working out right now. We'll see if he's got an adjustment to make. But buzzer beater on the OG grade goes a B+. Solid grade. Westchester said, what proof did the ref had? Sounds like a fix to me. Yeah, it was dubious. It was dubious. Definitely. buzzer beater, not feeling the offense. The read and react offense only works when you have great outside shooting. We didn't shoot anywhere near enough threes. I think the read and react offense isn't at its best that it can be right now because it's got new pieces. But yeah, I think late down the stretch, you do need to run some sets. You know, all the best coaches have go-to plays. You know, that's why coaches have a clipboard. You know, and after timeouts, we're not seeing great plays. I do like the Huckporty Ryan shout. I think those guys could have got some minutes. Buzzer said he and Cat were the only ones that could create their own shot tonight. Yeah, so let's hit on Brunson next, Sam, and then we'll hit on Cat. Because, you know, Brunson definitely bounced back, gave some assists the other game. Tonight, 10 assists as well, 33 points. But still at a point where I'm not seeing elite decision making, you know, from Brunson. Better game tonight, but there was a couple of plays where I felt, yeah, he drove into traffic and caused the turnover. Got blocked by Siakam, and then they got an and one play up the other end, and that was a real momentum killer, fam, as well. So Brunson trying to go up against that size was at that point where, you know, his decision making wasn't the best today as well, fam. So, you know, 33 points. We know he can fill it up. 10 assists is good as well, but mixed bag late to close the game and some defensive lapses combined with some bad decision making, I think, from Brunson. I'm going to give him just the standard average C+ grade for tonight, right? Because as the floor general, you know, we collapsed. We collapsed as a team as well. So everybody kind of wears that, some of that for me personally. So that's my grade for Brunson tonight. What do you guys think? Salute Danny Landers in the building. What's up? We should have won this one. I don't think I'm ready to talk trades at the minute. You know, it's way too early. I think we just got to trust our bench a bit more. We've got to wait for guys to get a bit more healthy. I think we'll be fine in the interim. But we've got to find our identity. But I do think we are clearly the third best team still. You know, I mean, tonight we were third. We're 500 team, and we were still third in the standings right now. But we got Philadelphia now, right, on Tuesday. That's going to be a crazy game, man. Tyrese Maxey's out, but Joel Embiid makes his long-awaited season return, and we're going to talk about that game later in tonight's show. But continue to give us your thoughts, fam. The chat's buzzing right now. I appreciate every single one of you. Knicks Nation, I see the passion, and I feel the frustration as well in this one, man. We hate to lose to Indiana, and I really felt confident in this one. Once we got up 10, I thought, okay, this is going to be the night where we just shoot them out. But our defense suffered late as well, and I think the guys just got gassed as well. So let's talk about the big cat. 11 of 19. Was in his bag again. 6 of 8, though, from the free throw. So did miss a couple of free throws. Cat was 8 of 9 rebounds. Pretty solid. 30 points, but a minus 13 as well. So whenever a player plays 38 minutes and they're a minus 13, that lets you know that you're going to have a hard time winning the ball game because that's a huge deficit right there. But he's in his bag. You know, he is starting to look more in rhythm. That's a positive with our offense. You know, no issues offensively with Cat. I think he's our best offensive player by far. He's playing like that right now, and we need to get him in his best spots, you know. Mix it up. I don't want to just see pick and pops and you know, and falling in love with the three all the time. But he is mixing it up. You know, he's driving, you know, getting fouled, forcing, you know, Indiana into, you know, fouls and being aggressive. So that was good tonight from Cat. I just think, yeah, the anchoring and the rim protection, you know, it's as the stats say right now, and I'm just going to bring this up quickly again. You know, the Knicks are 25th in the league in 2-point defense. That's just not sustainable. That's just given up easy, not necessarily mid-ranges, because most people don't shoot mid-range. That's floaters, layups. That's point. That's paint points that we're giving up right there. And so we really are missing Isaiah. We are missing Mitch. There's no doubt about it. You know, the numbers tell the story with that said. But Cat offensively, man, he is as advertised, playing really well on offense. I think he's making pretty solid decisions as well. I think he battled tonight. So with that said, I'm going to give Cat his grade. I mean, it's going to be a case of a mixed bag because great on offense, struggles on defense, right? But I still feel like he was slightly better than Brunson, but not as good as OG, of course. So somewhere in between for me is going to be a B minus for the big Cat tonight. Look, I've talked about a trade in terms of Leon Rose will make a tweak. I don't think it's going to be anything major, but every season he does make a move, as evidenced by Derek Rose. Then it was the Cam Reddish move. Then it was Josh Hart. Then it was OG Anunoby. Every season there's been an in-season move, and so we'll see what happens. But I'm not putting all my eggs in the Mitch basket, but I do think he'll figure out a solution. Leon Rose will, he'll get a backup big if we need, or if Precious is doing really well and Mitch is healthy, he'll do something else. But I don't think Cat at the full-time 5 is something that's sustainable for us right now. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong and it can work out. But yeah, we're just giving up way too many open looks right now. We are missing some Dante shot creation, definitely with that. And we are missing the physicality. Shez V said Hallie got his revenge. Definitely. Jay Dragon says, I don't know what to expect this season. Soon enough, time will tell. That's fair to say. It's a very small sample size, what we're seeing. Right now, I'm not panicking, but there are concerns, and we are a 500 team. Until they prove me otherwise, we are a 500 team. I think, as evidenced by the last few games, I think OG Anunoby is really giving us that wing stop. Mikal Bridges, not so much, and Mikal's been solid offensively. So let's talk about him next up. But he's not really the second part of wing stop for me right now is Mikal Bridges. So he needs to pick up his defense. 4 of 11 and 0 of 6 tonight from Mikal Bridges. So that really hurt us. Couldn't give us a 3-pointer. And the Knicks didn't hit a 3 in the second half until very, very late. Or maybe not even at all, I think. So I kind of lost count. But yeah, 41 minutes, 8 points, minus 11, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 turnovers, and 4 fouls for Mikal Bridges. So yeah, he did let us down tonight. He's had some good games, he's had some very average games, and he's had a couple of bad games combined. So I think he's been reflective of our identity right now, is Mikal Bridges. And so he needs to pick up that level of consistency that we want to see. It's still early because it's tough being that read and react offense. Sometimes you get 5 or 6 shots in a row, and then sometimes you don't get another look until like 4 minutes later. But that's the challenge Bridges is going to face as our third option. He's got to pick his spots. He's got to cut well. Pacome Daddier has been, looked good off ball, and I think Bridges got to continue to find ways to get his, offense going. But I think he's got to be better defensively, man. He's got to be much better. I think, our pick and roll defense was just woeful, right, tonight. So, man, for Bridges tonight, man, I'm gonna be tough on Bridges tonight because 0 of 6, he's gonna get a D for me. Let me know what you guys see late. But yeah, our defense completely unraveled. AP says Tibs got to know the expectations because Leon is not taking the fall for this. We all know, man, the coach is the first to go. There's no doubt about it. But I think we're ways away from that. I mean, we're only 1 game below 500. Solid bounce back win after Milwaukee. But that was why I said I wasn't satisfied after that Milwaukee game. That was just simply a get right game. And now we're back to square one, where we have to get right again, coming up against Philadelphia. But yeah, the starters should have been a lot better tonight, and as reflected by these mixed grades for me. Chris says, yeah, Mikal gets a D. Yeah, I think it might be harsh for some, but this is just for this night's performance. And yeah, I mean, he's an established, accomplished player. He's earning close to a, close to a max salary. I mean, we need better from Mikal Bridges. Simple as that. And that's that level of point that Bill Daughtry was making. We need that level of physicality, that dog, right? Hart's a dog. Brunson's a dog. You said OG was a technician. Cat, Bridges, are they a dog? We are missing that level of intensity, physicality element. And remember, we're not trying to be third. We're trying to knock the champion out. You got to compare yourself against the best if you're trying to be the best, right? I'm not comfortable with just a 48 win season and a first or second round exit. We've done that before for the last 2 seasons, right? We're trying to test ourselves against the best. So we gotta hold ourselves accountable. We gotta be better. And I think it's a great time to capitalize in the East right now. I mean, look at the East. You got Milwaukee now 2-8. You got Philadelphia dead last. Right? If now ain't the time to capitalize, then never. Then it's never. We've got Cleveland and Boston. We need to be picking up these wins early going. Let's talk about Josh Hart up next to round out the starters, man. 42 minutes again. And then we're going to give Tibs the grade after Hart, guys. But yeah, 16 points for Hart. He was the team worth minus 16, but he played the most minutes. So that's just not really on Hart. But he didn't hit a 3 tonight. He just couldn't get in a rhythm. Did give us 10 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, and a block as well. His energy was great early, but I think he just gassed out, man, as Indiana ran riot late in the ball game. So yeah, I love the energy and the effort from Hart, but yeah, offensively he just couldn't really get going. But I love that he was getting downhill early in the ball game. He was definitely one of the reasons we were up 10. But then yeah, the team just let go of the rope once we faced that little bit of adversity. So with that said, I'm gonna give Hart a straight down the middle, a C plus, because yeah, he gave us what he had. He stuffed the stat sheet as well, but yeah, just couldn't get into a rhythm offensively with his threes. But defensively, we all had struggles for me. Then we're gonna hit on Tibs coming up in a second, fam. David M says hit that like button. Appreciate you. Please smash that like button. You guys have got the Knicks streets buzzing. Edo says Knicks, the refs knocked the Knicks off their game. We're too emotional. Yeah, the referees were really poor tonight, and we're going to give the referees a grade as well. So great thoughts on that. Let me bring up the referees because I don't know if there was enough evidence to overturn that, that out of bounds 3 on OG. I mean, his heel was slightly above the line, right? And so, to change the ball game like that is kind of whack for me. And there was a lot of physicality. That one where Cat went strong and Miles Turner was basically, I mean, Clyde even said it was in his space. Mike Breen said it. And normally those are called. So that was a really bad call as well for me. Just a really bad officiating night overall. So the referees are going to get a D for me. A D. I don't think they completely changed the game in terms of the reason we lost. We lost because we weren't good enough. But the referees were really, really bad tonight, man. And speaking of bad, let's give the grade for the coach, Tom Thibodeau. As Daniel C in the chat says, 6-man rotation doesn't work. This team will be gassed by Christmas. Tibs is a joke right now. And look, I'm going to bring the wrath because I completely agree. I think Tibs is a joke right now. I think it just needs to be called out, right? You call a spade, man. Tibs gets an F for me tonight, man. The team they rode until the wheels fell off, right? 6-7-man rotation in the 12th game of the season is just completely unacceptable. It's completely unprofessional, and I hate it, right? Some people might think otherwise, but I'd love to hear your rationale. Not learning from previous mistakes, fam. I mean, there's a couple of things which are marginal, which I've kind of let slide. The Sims thing is one of them. I was like, okay, Sims has kind of become a little more consistent, but the flip-flopping with Daddy A and Huck Porty, giving them some minutes early and then not. We signed Huck Porty to a 2-year deal, nothing. We signed Matt Ryan tonight, nothing. Tyler Kolek, 1 minute. And then you get what you get what you sow, Tibs. We got blown out. We got blown out late in the ball game. So it's a complete F for me. Buzzer says Josh Hart B+, threw up some wild shots looking for the foul, but good numbers considering his large minutes. Chris has gone with the B+ for Hart. Appreciate it, guys, given the love for Lionheart. We've got to capitalize because it was basically a case of, the East is slow. We've got Charlotte hanging around. We need to pick up these wins. Buzzer says, CT, what was the free throw disparity? For the free throw disparity, let me just clarify that, and we can get to the bench, right? Because that was where the Knicks really struggle, right? We need to incorporate some more guys. So free throw attempts were 27 Knicks, 25 Pacers, so it was pretty even, and that's what you usually get. I think even when the referees are bugging, Buzzer, they do try to even it out late in the game as well. But I mean, we've got some guys on our bench, and they deserve some minutes. You got Payne out. I know you got Precious out. You got Mitch obviously still out, but you got some healthy bodies. You got the length of Daddy A. You got the size in Huck Porty, and you've got Matt Ryan, who you just signed, right? He would have been solid to throw out there to shoot some threes tonight. The Knicks just couldn't buy a three late. So let's talk about the bench. Let's talk about Deuce. I think Deuce had some struggles tonight running the offense, right? No, 1 assist, but gave us 2 steals, a turnover, 3 fouls, 7 points. Was 1 of 5 though from distance, 3 of 9 from the field in his 29 minutes. So great last 2 games for Deuce, but yeah, they had him in a straitjacket tonight, right? He couldn't get us into any sets early, and he couldn't get his 3-point ball going. So tonight was one of Deuce's downer nights, for the season. And, one of the reasons we're struggling to get these points off the bench. So I like the steals. I still love the tenacity and all of that. But my grade for Deuce tonight, was underwhelming, and he gets a C for me. What do you guys see from Deuce tonight? And Deuce usually isn't down for very long. He bounces back, and so he does have some struggles though against Indiana. In the playoffs, TJ McConnell was a handful. Steve says Daddy A needs to be out there to get some experience. Tibbs is shot as a coach. I think, he's panicking early, and that's why, he's a reflection of the players at times. That's something that Coach Nick tells me from B-Ball Breakdown. Your players are a reflection of your coach, and your Jekyll and Hyde kind of play is usually a reflection of your coach, and I believe in that. All the stuff he's saying in the locker room, stressing people out, barking on the sidelines nonstop. I mean, it does unsettle the players at times, lack of play calling. We are a reflection of our coach right now. He's all over the shop with his rotations, trusting guys, then not trusting them. And I think, yeah, Leon Rose has really got to be looking tonight. Like, he's got to be really, perked up, I think. I don't think Tibbs' seat is warm yet. I think somebody asked me in the chat, it was about 3 games back, what's it going to take for Tibbs' seat to get warm? And I said, just by record standard, it would have to be, at least 6 to 8 games below 500, I think, for Tibbs' seat to ever get warm. Right now, it's early kinks in the season, but we are seeing some, ugly signs, I'll say, rear its ugly head. Daniel says, we've got to play some Huck Porty. Sims is awful. I think, yeah, it's a case of, he's trusting Sims early, but I think that's a lot to do with the existing relationship they have, A lot of coaches go down with their guys, when the ship sinks, they usually go down with their guys. And for whatever reason, Sims seems to be Tibbs' guy right now. But yeah, you see it all over the league. With that said, so let's hit on this super chat, fam. Edo Flores, appreciate you. Great to see you here, and thank you for the contributions, supporting the machine, and got the streets buzzing. So everyone, give a thumbs up for Edo in the chat. Let's get it. Give us your thoughts on this situation, right? What is the thing that you're most pleased are, and what can we correct right now? Very early in the season, and look, I've given Tibbs a lot of flowers, for his ability to turn things around. Let's not kid ourselves. We have faced adversity every season for the last, like, every year that Tibbs has been here. It's been a slow start, and then we've found some medicine, we've found some remedy, we've found a shot in the arm, and we bounced back. To go on a 9-game winning streak. All of those things are on the table, no doubt about it, and we're figuring things out. But that doesn't mean that he might not have to tweak things. There was a lot of tweaking that Tibbs did 2 years ago. It was getting Evan Fournier out of the rotation, and that was the catalyst for the Knicks to go on a big run, right? And then even after that, it was to get Quentin Grimes, who was struggling, out of the lineup. It was get Dante DiVincenzo in there. And then, we went on a huge run with Dante and on a fairy tale ride. He ends up being the franchise best shooter. But what do we have right now? What's Tibbs's, what's his trick up his sleeve? What can he do? Who can he go to now off the bench? Because it doesn't seem like he thinks somebody is there. He doesn't trust anybody right now. We just brought in Matt Ryan. Maybe he's a guy that he inserts ASAP. Maybe some positive signs are that Cameron Payne is not far away. I think Cameron Payne is about, probably no less than a week to go. He was close today, questionable, and I did warm up. So I think we're going to need some punch from Cam. And also Precious Achua, I think, is not far away as well. So I think some help is on its way when it comes to the rotation. I haven't been watching Minnesota much, Daniel, so let us know how you see them going. But, I think it's been a little mixed bag early for those guys, but great coaching, great system in Minnesota. I'm happy with Cat as the pickup. Really hated losing Dante, no doubt about it. And as I've said before, I think it might take us a little while to restock our our depth. Every time a team guts their depth and makes a blockbuster trade, it can take a longer to fill that up. But I do trust Leon. He's managed to get a lot of great mid-season trades and figure things out. Munch says losing a regular season game on the road to the Pacers isn't the problem. The problem is losing with gas starters on 40 plus minutes and not taking the time to develop the bench. Great comment. I agree with that. AP says Ariel Pacome should be getting time. They were pro basketball players overseas. He's treating them like high school players. I think in tonight's case, you're spot on, because yeah, there's no reason to go 7 men when you got some guys. Jay Will says Brunson has to create more for others. We have 3-point shooters, but they don't create for themselves. Yeah, I think we just have to play with a faster pace, you know. And I do love when Brunson makes quick decisions, fam, and gets downhill, you know. But look, something's got to give, because out of all the things that our stats tell us, as I bring this up, some things are sustainable and some things are not sustainable. I think, in my opinion, continuing to run at the 30th pace, I don't think that's sustainable in this new age game where teams just going to shoot threes on you, right? Because if you're the 30th in pace, that means you're inevitably going to get less possessions. Other teams are going to get more possessions. You know, I'm not talking about being, you know, D'Antoni 7 seconds or less, but can we speed things up? You know, can we get more shots going? There's a lot of dribbling and post ups and a lot of, you know, I love the ball movement, but sometimes it's a bit too much, and you give up a great shot and you end up with a bad shot because the defense can reset, they can scramble, they can help, they can reset and get back on you, and by the time we've kicked it out to the fourth guy, he ends up shooting something contested, or he ends up, you know, driving into traffic. So yeah, I do think a lot of the struggles are lying with Brunson right now. He has to get right. I like the assist, but we've got to get, you know, better looks, more pick and roll, and we do have to shoot more threes. You know, we are coming into tonight shooting third in the league at threes, but we're 20th in attempts. You know, so the math ain't mathin' right now. You know, it's like it's like you being perfect in Vegas. You know, let's say you're on a hot streak and you're rolling in Vegas, and then you just stop playing. You know, I never heard of anyone on a roll stop playing. Um, so yeah, we need to continue those threes. We need to get those threes up. With that said, Michael Drake says everyone is saying Huck Porty, but what is Huck Porty is not that great in practice. So maybe that's why Tibs ain't playing him. He's playing Sims instead. We don't know what's happening in practice, fam, but Michael, I could tell you, is most fans making their a judgment based on what, you know, what things look like in the games. And so far, Huck Porty's shown some promise in a lot of these games. You know, he's shown physicality. He's been able to dunk on people. You know, he's been able to, be an anchor and get, you know, he was actually leading the team in blocks. Actually, for a guy that hardly plays any minute, Huck Porty is averaging 1 block a game. And I don't think there's a singular Nick that's actually averaging 1 block a game. And that's a blight, because Huck Porty's been getting scraps, but he's still averaging the most blocks. But yeah, there is going to be the usual boneheaded, tendency to foul and those things from the rook. But I think he does deserve some time. I think he's more seasoned than people believe, you know. He's played pro overseas. What's up, Eddie F? We have a very special team. Now we have a very middle of the pack team. I think that's how a lot of people feel. But I do still feel like we have a special team on our hands. It's just a different kind of team. It's a different team in the way we have to play. And I think we're still coming to terms with that, right? We need to scrap the whole, grind you down with the offensive rebounds and the slow pace. We have to get our pace up. We have to get our threes up. If we want to beat Boston, we've got to play more like Boston. And we're just playing way too slow, fam. And we are a finesse kind of team now, like Daniel says. Definitely. We're searching for that identity. There's no doubt about it. We are missing some Johnny Bryant, AP. You know, I don't know if he was a guy that was ever going to take over, because he wasn't a Tibbs hire or a Leon hire, but he was more of a Wes. He was a Wes hire. But yeah, Johnny Bryant's gone. Maybe we are missing some of that creativity as well. I think we will get a roll on. You know, every year there's a lot of lions in that locker room, fam. And I know the grades don't show it tonight, and really bad loss, fam. But I'm still keeping optimistic, because these guys, you know, we have A lot of guys with a big heart there. Brunson will figure it out. I think Bridges is early. I haven't seen enough of him yet, but OG was a dog tonight. Josh Hart's always been a dog. I think Cat, is a finesse offensive player and an elite offensive player. We need to play to his strengths, but we need to figure out how we can, support his weakness, and that's the points in the paint and the rim protection at the five. I think you got to get a solution at the five and play Cat more at the four a little bit like Minnesota did, because I think we have that blueprint. You know, I think it would be negligent for the New York Knicks to assume that we can just play Cat at the five and ignore that blueprint that the Minnesota Timberwolves had by getting to the Western Conference Finals with Rudy Gobert. It worked, and so hopefully, Mitch gets back soon, or whether that's Precious or a trade, or they do end up trusting Hakporty to see if he can do it. Hopefully, we can do something, man. Because I'm sick of giving up too many points, and I'm sick of these bad losses. Really, the New York Knicks should be thriving right now. Right, we really should have beaten Cleveland. We should have beat Houston. We should have beat ATL, and we were 10 points up tonight as well. So yeah, we're the quintessential Jekyll and Hyde team, right? And so let's give a grade for Jericho Sims. And we can't grade Kolek, so it's kind of ridiculous that we're only giving out 2 grades from the bench. But let's talk about the road ahead after that. So Jericho Sims, he was 1 of 1, 9 minutes, 2 rebounds, 2 points, +2 for Jericho Jumpman Sims. Look, I mean, like I said before, Jericho's not doing anything that's changing the game in our favor, but he's not also losing us the game either. He's just a guy eating minutes for me, and he's supporting while some guys are out. Now, he's not the guy long term. Some feel like he's not deserving of minutes at all. But whatever it is, Jericho's, he is Tibbs's guy right now. But yeah, I don't see anything that he's doing that's helping us, really. And so, I mean, with that said, I'm just going to give Jericho a C minus, right? C minus. He gets a pass, 9 minutes, but you really could have got us a couple more rebounds. But yeah, it didn't lose us the game at all, of course. But yeah, I don't know what to make of it long term. Michael Drake says, CT, I believe we're missing Precious and Mitch. Great point, no doubt about it. And maybe that's this season's catalyst to for us to go on a huge run and get Cat back to the 4 and OG back to the 3. You see, part of an early season stretch is to learn about what can work and how our guys can look. And maybe this is that stretch that we just had a look at it and we figure out that Cat isn't our 5 long term, and we move him to the 4. There's a silver lining in this kind of play, despite our record, right? And maybe we're figuring things out that help us later. Michael also goes C minus. Appreciate you. So yeah, those guys are filling a void. David says Embiid should be suspended until Mitch is able to return. I think Philly are struggling as well, and really we're in a better position, and that says a lot. We're in a better position than Milwaukee, and all of that, fam. So that's our rotation. Let's take a quick look at the schedule, and then what I want to see changed up. Right. So let's bring up the schedule right now. We got our first NBA Cup game, man. Right under fire now. We're back under 500 as we move to 4 and 5 on the season. We got a back-to-back, the first of the season. We got Philly and we got Chicago, man. Are we going to sweep it? Are we going to split it? I think we'll definitely pick up one of these wins. We have a tendency to go back and forth, but Philly is a huge game, man. I would love to pile on the pain with Philly, and so I'm going to take a quick look at the schedule, at the standings, And we're going to get this going right now and see where the Knicks fall in the standings. Let's peep the East. Guys, we got Cleveland with a huge win, 11-0 now. Unbelievable. It is early still. I could see them losing a couple, we win a couple, and then it's back on again. So it's way too early yet. But tonight's win by Indiana, man, sends them above the New York Knicks to third. And they're only 500, man. That's embarrassing. The Charlotte Hornets currently tied with us, so we're tied fourth as well. That game against the Bulls is going to be important as well. I mentioned capitalizing. Magic are without Paolo Banchero, man. So we need to be getting ahead of them. We've got Brooklyn, we've got Miami as well. The East is very, very weak, man. Atlanta, Washington, the Raptors, they're all going to be tanking real soon. Even Brooklyn's going to have a fire sale because they don't want to miss out on their draft pick as well. And then all the way at the bottom, you got the Bucks, you got the Sixers, man. Look at the Sixers, man. We can make them go 1-8 and basically eliminate them from a top 3 seed. Right? There's no coming back. If Philly are 1-8, that's a mountain to climb to get back to a top 3 seed with their injury problems. So the Knicks can pile on the pain and get right again. Let's hope. Let's hope, fam. And so with the rotation, I mean, something's got to give. Either Campaign gets back in next game, or you need to play Kolek more minutes, and you need to get Dadier in there, fam. I don't think he's going to change the Sims minutes, but if you can get Matt Ryan or Dadier in there and rest Bridges and OG a bit more, maybe that can keep them more fresh. What do you guys think? Sims, Buzzer's gone with a C. He's just holding someone's place. Didn't like the moving screen turnover tonight. Thank you for reminding me. Great point. Fundamentals do matter. Maybe that Tibs looks at that and sees if he can make a switch up. But man, our rotation has to increase. You guys all agree with that. J Will goes F for Sims. David M says Sixers will be a play-in team. And Daniel says Mark Jackson would be a good option if the Knicks are looking one day. I don't see Jackson getting back into the league, but yeah, he's got a lot of fans, a lot of supporters. It will be interesting. I haven't even thought of who would be a candidate if Tibs were to not make it. But I do think this is a make or break season for Tibs. There's no doubt about it. I mean, all the evidence is there. Leon Rose has made all these moves. We've made the second round 2 years in a row. This is that year that you're supposed to get over that hump. So we'll see. It's really early, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing right now. Brian says we got to get better, but so did we got better, but so did the whole league. Yeah, that's a great point. We changed our identity, and I think it could take 20 games of this back and forth Jekyll and Hyde to find our identity, fam. But the reason I don't want to keep using Precious and Mitch as an excuse is, what are the odds that at least 2 players are going to be injured at any one time? I mean, that's just the reality of the NBA now, fam. You're always going to have a couple of players that are unavailable from night to night. I don't want to keep using that as an excuse because we have a good enough team. We have some players that Tibbs should play, and we should be beating these teams as well. And so, yeah, I would love to see Mitch and Precious back healthy ASAP. But I don't want to keep using that as an excuse because can we depend on having a full healthy roster for 82 games? I think most of the time, you're going to be without 1 or 2 guys, and so let's say Mitch and Precious get back, maybe then OG misses a game or 2, and then maybe Bridges misses a game or 2 or somebody else. So you got to grind it out. You got to get wins and you got to play your guys. You got to figure it out. I think Tibbs had a whole preseason training camp. We're kind of lucky we got Cameron Payne by a veteran's minimum because he's more valuable to us than when we first signed him. Landry Shamet was a tough blow. Understand that. Hopefully Matt Ryan can get a chance, or Shamet can get back, real quick at the start of the new year. Yeah, the East is wide open, fam, and I love us to take advantage right now. I mean, look at all these teams in the play-in. Detroit's in the play-in, and they're 3 games below. Orlando without Paolo for 6 weeks as well. So, when they get healthy, they're going to make a run as well. I think the Charlotte Hornets are kind of fool's gold right now, but they are better, like Brian said. They're one of those teams that just every year are going to get slightly better because Brandon Miller, young players, LaMelo Ball, they're just going to get better. I think Indiana are a bit worse than last season. I think tonight was kind of their get right game. They got us one, fam, but super frustrating, man. I didn't expect us to get blown out like that, man. But as I said to Bill last night, I don't think Cleveland against Boston are going to win that matchup. I'm not worried if I'm Boston about Cleveland, because when push comes to shove in that matchup, I don't think that Spider Mitchell, Darius Garland are going to be a match for Derek White, Drew Holiday. They're going to shut them down. If you can shut down the engine of Cleveland, you're gonna beat them, I think, on that. So Jay Will, Alec Burks would have been a good option, and I think the Knicks had interest, but I did hear that he preferred the Miami job because he thought that he was going to get more time, and so that's kind of it's unfortunate. Alec Burks did take less money to go to Miami, I think, to take a bigger role. But yeah, there's options, and I think Leon Rose will get creative. I really do think he's aggressive. I think, and look, he doesn't want his grand plan to fail, right? This is Leon Rose's grand plan. I think it might not be the finished product, and he's going to make some tweaks, I think, along the way. But we need to get a rim protector and an anchor of our defense, I feel. We need to see better perimeter defense. Lily Phillips said, did Pacers have an excuse with their rotation players out tonight? Great point, Lily. The Pacers were missing Nemhard, they were missing Neesmith, they were missing Obi Toppin, and they were missing their 2 other backup centers as well. They're playing Enrique Freeman. They played Johnny Furphy tonight. And we all know Rick Carlisle doesn't play rookies, and even he's adapting right now. Buzzer says, great point, CT, about Chewy and Mitch. We are always injured. Yep. It's just a numbers game, fam. Like, what are the odds someone else is going to be down at some point? So I don't think it's too much of an excuse right now. I mean, that's why to build a championship, you need to build great depth, and depth matters. And, I mean, most of the people that don't like the big trade was because Dante, giving up 2 for 1. We really gave up 3 for 1 with Keita Bates Diop, but we never saw Keita Bates Diop, so people just disregard that. But he was set to be a rotation player, or vie for a rotation spot was Keita Bates Diop. So we technically gave away 3 players for one great player, and we did find some good gems. Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet was a good find, but I mean, right now, for the second consecutive loss, our bench scoring has been really bad. 9 points tonight. I think he needs to find more production off our bench. Brian says Halliburton was wide open for about 8 shots and he hit all of them. Absolutely, man. And we were just gassed, right? So we're back to another get-right game, and I think we'll probably beat Philly. I think Philly are woeful. Embiid's going to be rusty, right? First game in, but he is going to be fired up, right? It's going to be a heated game, MSG, right? I kind of can't wait still. I can't wait for that game. I'm still hyped. We'll bounce back. I think we'll go 5-5, and then it'll be a back-to-back against Chicago. So we'll see what happens in the first back-to-back of the season, guys. Is that when Tibs expands our rotation? The first back-to-back of the season is the perfect time to desperately expand our rotation, man. Matt Ryan, Dadier, Hakpority. Does Cameron Payne get back? I think there's a chance Cameron Payne will play against Philly, if not Chicago. I think he's making solid progress, according to Ian Begley and The Beat. But my eyes are on Westchester as well. Moses Brown tonight, man, balled out. So did TJ Warren as well. I don't know why we didn't sign Moses Brown on the two-way. Maybe he's not eligible. But we did sign that other player, Boo Bowie, or however his name is pronounced. Apologies for butchering the name, but he did take the final two-way spot. Kevin McCullough, no one knows what's up with his health situation. I liked his moxie. He's a kind of mix-it-up defender, a grittier wing defender. I factored into maybe Kevin McCullough being a defender for us this season. We haven't seen 1 minute of him yet. So it's interesting, man. Buzzer about Reggie Bullock. I just think Tibs probably wants to go a bit more athletic. Leon. I think Tibs probably wanted Reggie Bullock back, but I think it's probably a Leon decision on that one. And Nick's trying to get more athletic. So, guys, keep your heads up. Knicks Nation, we're figuring things out. We've got to figure out our identity right now, but we've got to switch things up. Right, we can't continue to run a 6 to 7 man rotation. Man, that's asinine. And Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, guys, you need to step up your game. Right, I think Hart, Cat, and OG are kind of giving you max capacity or close to max capacity. With that said, I do feel like Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson have some gears that they can go to, specifically with Bridges on the defensive end, Brunson decision making and getting the offense flowing, I think, late, right? But we did play a team that was motivated tonight, and we're in a great position, but we let it slip as well. We can't let this Philly game slip. So with that said, fam, let's get it Tuesday night. Have a blessed night on the rest of the weekend. It's a shame the way that the Knicks ended this weekend, but we got to get right. We got to get back, and hopefully we can sweep this back-to-back, fam. But smash that like button. Appreciate all the love, the comments, and the passion coming through the chat tonight, and I will see you for the next one. Peace, everyone.